Manchester United have beaten Nottingham Forest today 2-0 on the day that Arsenal have drawn with West Ham away from home 2-2, and they've blown the title race wide open. What does this mean? Does this mean that Man United are back in the title race? Of course not. Let's not be silly. Of course it doesn't mean that, but it was good to win today. It was a good away performance, a really good away performance. Listen, Antony got himself on the score sheet and got himself an assist. Dalot with the second goal as well. It was a good performance today from Bruno, who was also my man in the match. A dominant performance by the midfield. Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno just dominated the game today. Totally dominated the game today, and United had almost 70% possession in the end. A dominant away performance. There was not a lot of chances created today by United, and we still need to be more clinical, but we need to be happy with the win today. There's a lot to talk about. Maguire and Lindelof starting for United, and to be honest, they're probably going to have to start more games because of the injuries we have. Maguire made a few mistakes, but in the end, they got a clean sheet. So that's a good start because we're going to need them. We're going to need them to play well if we're going to finish the season strong. There's a lot to talk about today. There's a lot to talk about, guys. As usual, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a cup of coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you want to do, and relax, man. Let's have a talk about the game. Let's have a chat. Let's have a debrief. Let's talk about what we see. Let's say what we see and not how we feel here on this channel. If you're not channel, we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. As usual, before we get into the analysis, before we get into the review, smash the like for me, turn on the notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribed, brand new channel, guys. I think you guys are gonna want to hear or enjoy hearing what I have to say, and I want to hear what you guys want to say. So please, guys, just comment below, comment your thoughts, man. Let me know, increase my football knowledge as well, man. So yeah, let's go. Let's get into the game. Let's talk about this game. How did it go? Listen, the lineup wasn't surprising. The lineup wasn't surprising because we know about the injuries to Varane and Martinez. So Maguire and Lindelof starting. Maybe it was surprising to see Maguire on the right hand side and Lindelof on the left. Maybe that was surprising, but it's not surprising to see them start. What did surprise me though was seeing Dalot on the left. That surprised me because Dalot is a right footer. So that was quite interesting. I'm looking forward to see how that unfolded in the game. The midfield three, of course, Sabitzer was injured, so Eriksen had to come in. It's about time Eriksen came in. Eriksen's better than Sabitzer. Let's not even have a debate about that. We know he is better. He's a better midfielder than Sabitzer. So having Eriksen back was really, really good. Really, really good. Because at the end of the day, that for me is probably our best midfield three. Arguably our best midfield three. So I'm happy with the fact that we started that midfield three. The front three for me now picks itself. Without Rashford, and now that he's injured for a while, for me now the front three picks itself with Martial, Antony and Sancho. That's probably our best front three now that Rashford is injured. Martial is one of my favourite players at United. Antony is now starting to feel himself. He's starting to grow into himself. And I'm just hoping Sancho, we've seen good games with Sancho, but we've also seen games where Sancho hasn't played well. Let's be honest. So I'm hoping that, Sancho with a run of games, consistency will start, maybe try to cement himself. Because I think Antony's slowly starting to cement himself on the right-hand side. And I want somebody to just grab that left-hand side the way that Antony's slowly starting to grab that right. But nonetheless, that was the team that we started with. That was a starting lineup. Like I said, I had no problems with the starting lineup. Some of the players had to play through necessity, through injury. Fred hasn't really had a look in for a while in terms of the starting lineup, which, I'm fine with because we're still playing well. So, yeah, let's talk about the game, how we saw the game and how the game genuinely unfolded. And for me, like the first minute was just like quick, fast start. And there's one thing I always say on this channel, guys. United start well in a lot of games, right? When I say start well, I mean they start well in the sense that we gain possession, we monopolize possession very quickly. But we don't start intensely. We don't start the way that sometimes I see Arsenal and Man City start, with intensity and intent. It's almost as if we just want to get control of the ball and just pass it around a little bit before before we start attacking. But today, within the first minute, we had an opportunity. Good link-up play on the right with Antony and Bruno as well. And Sancho, you could argue maybe he should have scored, but within the first minute, we created an opportunity and we started with aggression, with intensity, and I love that. I love that. I love seeing that because I want to see more of that. We don't need to wait till the 5th minute to start putting teams under pressure, But that being said, after the third minute, Maguire got himself booked, and at the same time, when I saw that, I was thinking to myself, okay, we started so well. The first 2 minutes, we started like somebody lit a fire up our backside. And since that foul just put an aura of this fear and negativity and this cautiousness all like over the team. And I could see it and I could almost smell it, that people, as soon as he made that foul, Maguire, within the 3rd minute, and got a yellow, and that's the main thing, he got booked for it. I could just almost feel something change within the players a little bit. And that's how important, you can't have people just, Maguire is not a captain and Maguire should not be the leader. You can't be having your captain within the first 2 minutes of the game give away a yellow card because he's too slow, because he was, at the halfway line. And to be honest, we know that Ten Hag likes to play football. And to be honest, not just Ten Hag. If you watch the way Man City and Arsenal play, their defenders play on the halfway line and they squeeze teams to death. That's the way that we want to play. Clearly, we want our defenders up in the halfway line. And that's why we can't really play consistently with Maguire, because he's not mobile enough to play that high up the field. We have to keep dropping back to accompany him, to make do with him. We have to play 2 holding midfielders under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign to hide the fact that he's got a lack of mobility, And like I said, it was so frustrating. I know I'm just, going over the point, guys, but I don't think you understand how important those sort of moments are in a match. And I think those sort of moments, Maguire does them a bit too much for me, and it's not good. It's not good. But like I said, first 15, 17 minutes, we passed the ball around, but once again, I noticed that we couldn't squeeze. We had to drop off a little bit because Maguire and Lindelof lacked the pace. So our defensive line was a bit lower sometimes than we wanted it to be, right? Which means we didn't really build from the back as quickly as we wanted within the first 15, 20 minutes. The speed wasn't there in the passing from the defenders into the midfielders. We kept the ball, yes, but we weren't incisive. We weren't quick in our passes. But like I said, we had good possession. Bruno had a shot saved around in the 17th minute, I think, after we had a good counter-attack. You could argue he could have scored. I don't think so. I think that was a good save from the goalkeeper. But like I said, after about 30 minutes, no goal. Still decent in possession. Holes started appearing in the midfield. Bruno, Eriksen, and especially Casemiro started finding the passes, and Casemiro started doing that no look, or he does look, but that sort of first touch pass over the shoulder. He kept doing that to unlock. He does that quite a bit, and it's quite effective to unlock a defender, to unlock a defense. But yeah, Casemiro started doing that. One thing actually worked quite well. The inverted fullbacks worked quite well for Man United. The way that both Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka cut in, because of course, we grew up watching fullbacks usually overlap, and yes, the fullbacks did overlap, but they also cut in. They also underlapped. They also made themselves available in the midfield an extra body in midfield, an extra pass, an extra passing lane, an extra dynamic, whatever, more triangles can be formed. And that's really important, especially when we want to evade the press, when De Gea has the ball and, the opponent want to press us. You see Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot cut in. And today was quite interesting seeing Dalot cut in because Dalot is right-footed and he's playing on the left. So Dalot cutting in is actually more natural for him anyway. So we're going to talk about it, and that, in my opinion, the natural way that Dalot would cut in on his right foot, because he's right-footed, is a reason why he got himself in that position to eventually, and we're going to talk about it later, eventually score the goal that he scored. So yeah, the first half was a good first half. The goal we scored was a good goal. I think Antony Martial lost the ball initially, the 31st minute we scored. Antony Martial lost the ball initially, won it back. Bruno fed him again. I thought Martial was going to score. Police, siren. I thought Antony Martial was going to score, but unfortunately, his left foot shot was saved and Antony came in at the back on the rebound. And Antony had a good first half today. Antony, like I said, he's starting to become, for me, more reliable. It's getting to the point where you don't panic when he has the ball. Yes, not everything he does will come off, and he's still refining his game. But like I said at the start of the video, I am now getting into a position where when I watch Antony play, I am comfortable now that he is, and this is just his first season, he's going to get a lot better. I guarantee he is. I think he could cement down that right-hand side if he continues to refine his game. But like I said, good goal from United. United deserved the goal. Not a lot of clear-cut chances were created before the goal in the 31st minute. But United deserved the goal, in my opinion. And like I said, that's how I saw the first half. For United to score the second goal, because it was clear that with Nottingham Forest's low block, because Nottingham Forest was sitting deep for the whole of the first half. And for me, it wasn't like a game for like a Rashford. Well, Rashford can't play, but to put someone through. I thought to score the second goal, it was going to have to be a runner from deep. And we weren't doing that enough. We weren't, because Martial would drop deep to try and link up the play. But for that to be effective, for instance, like the Sabitzer goal that we scored last week, he needs the Brunos and the Eriksens to be running past him to make those third man runs. And we weren't doing that in the first half. And that is what we improved on in the second half, if you watch the game again. But yeah, it was difficult for us to beat Forest's low block whenever they defended low. Whenever they pushed up, we looked more threatening, as we would always do. But we weren't clinical enough. Our decision-making in the final third wasn't the greatest. We had good possession in the first half without just having that clinical edge, essentially, is what I'm saying. But 1-0 first half, good first half. Once again, the second half started, and Forest actually started the second half more aggressively. A lot more aggressively than they started the first half. They were pressing United more, and they were looking to get to Awoni quickly. As soon as they got the ball, they were looking to get Maguire under pressure, looking to put Lindelof, and as you would, why wouldn't you, right? Under pressure as quickly as possible. That was their game plan. They rushed us, they harried us, and like I said, the first 10 minutes, United didn't really settle at all. The question is, of course, with that is, how long are Nottingham Forest going to keep up with this pressing? Because even though Nottingham Forest started the second half well, they pressed us, they started aggressively, United always looked like they were just one pass away from evading their press, or one pass away from the ball going over the top for a counter-attack. And that was the case. Literally, that was the case. Bruno and Eriksen today. Let's talk about Bruno and Eriksen before we talk about the chances they created, because Today, we saw why all teams need a ball player or ball playing midfielder in the midfield. And I spoke about Eriksen in the previous videos, and I said, before Eriksen got injured, he was actually having a dip of form. Before Eriksen got injured, he wasn't playing that well, but he's still so necessary in the midfield because he keeps the ball ticking. He keeps the ball ticking over, and most importantly, he usually makes the right decisions. He usually makes the right decisions in midfield, and that's what you want. Eriksen is very missed, and the way him and Bruno just kept passing and moving. The thing is, football sometimes is simple, especially as a midfielder. If you just pass and you move into a new position to receive the ball, you will have a good footballing team. And our midfielders were comfortable on the ball, composed on the ball. Eriksen, Bruno, pass, and they moved. Passed, and they moved. Eriksen, Casemiro, passed, and it was simple. Nobody stood in position. Antony drifted. Sancho drifted in to create different passing lanes. Martial dropped in to create different angles. We moved the ball around, and that's what I keep having to say, that if United need to get to the next level, we need players who are comfortable on the ball in every or any situation, not just with their back to goal, or not just on the left, on the right. I want ballers. I want guys who can receive the ball under pressure, who are press resistant. And we are starting to build something here. So like I said before, Eriksen and Bruno played well today. They dominated the midfield. And Bruno had an opportunity around the two chances actually. The first chance around the 56th minute, Eriksen 1-2 from Bruno's corner, and Bruno's shot was saved, and I think it hit the bar as well. So the goalkeeper hit it onto the bar. Really good shot from Bruno. And once again, I think a few minutes later, Bruno had a deflected shot saved from the goalkeeper. So yeah, man, Bruno played well today. He was probably my man in the match, in all fairness. Martial, before he came off on the 70th minute, we need a fit Martial now, especially now that Rashford is injured. And Martial is, for me, one of United's better players, one of United's better technical players. He doesn't panic. His composure is a very good asset. People called him lazy in the past. I hated that word. I hated when he was branded that. Today wasn't his best day. His last performance was better. Today wasn't the greatest day, but he still did his shift. He still played well. He holds the ball up a lot better than Weghorst, even though Weghorst is bigger. He's better technically than Weghorst. To be fair, I don't want to describe him by having to compare him with someone else. I should just describe him in absolute terms. And yeah, the way he holds the ball up, the way he brings others into play, his composure, his IQ, his footballing IQ is just really good to just watch. Today wasn't one of his better days, and he should have scored. Let's be honest, guys, he should have scored that header from Casemiro. But he was replaced with Weghorst, or by Weghorst. I agree with that sub. I think we need to wrap this man in cotton wool. Just like Man City, used to wrap Aguero in cotton wool. Just like you would wrap any important player for your team that you know is valuable, that you know you need. Ten Hag has said it himself many times that Man United play. We know, we can see. Say what you see, you know how you feel. A lot of people hate Martial for whatever reasons. I don't know why. If you like football, if you enjoy football and watching football, you can't hate Martial because he's a good footballer. So what are you really hating? You're just hating a man because he's injury prone? You hate him because he's injury prone? You don't hate someone because he's injury prone. It's unfortunate that he's injury prone. You don't hate him for it. Like, what has he done for hate? He hasn't done anything for hate. He's just been injured playing for Man United. He's broken his body trying to play for this football club. So I've got time for Martial, and I'll defend him on this channel. When he's not playing well, I'll say he's not playing well, and I'll say that's a bad performance. But what I won't do is have all this bias and have all this hate on the man for no reason. Today wasn't even one of his better days. No, it wasn't. But it was still, compared to some footballers, a decent day for Martial. Weghorst came on. He played okay. But the more I watch Weghorst, the more I realised that... I wouldn't say realised. I've always said Weghorst, he adds to the team. He works hard. He runs. But he doesn't. I don't think he has the necessary quality to be a striker. And if you're not gonna push Martial, who is a broken man who's made out of glass, if you're not gonna push him for the starting lineup, then I don't really see the point of buying him. You know, like if he's not gonna be somebody to push Martial, if he's only gonna be starting because Martial can't start, not because he's better, but because Martial can't start every game, then what? I want players to come in to say, listen, Martial, you sit on the bench. I don't care if you're fit. I'm better than you. We need to start be thinking of that now. We need to stop thinking of like a small team and start thinking, okay, any player down that comes in needs to challenge the first team. If we get in a DM, he needs to challenge Casemiro. If we get in a CM, he needs to challenge Bruno. Not be on the bench. But yeah, Weghorst came on, did his job, I guess. We scored again. Yes, we did on the 76th minute. And like I said, Antony, we can talk about Antony now. Antony's run infield. That was my Alexa from my other room, you know. That's crazy. But yeah, the way Antony, he's always going to cut in, isn't he? Antony's always going to cut in. In fact, I say always, but I've seen in the last few matches, he's now and again gone on the outside. And that's what he needs to do more often. He needs to, and I've said it in my other videos, you can have a trick, right, that everyone knows that you're going to do, but they still can't stop it. That's fine. But you still need to have at least the ability to go and do something else or go on the outside. And I don't even know if he had the ability, because he's never ever shown us that if he had the ability or that he had the ability. But at least now we've seen it, especially in the last few games, that he can go down the outside. And I like that. Antony had a good game today. He's becoming someone you can trust. And trust is so important. You can give him the ball and the ball will stick to his feet. The ball's not going to bounce off his feet like a Dan James or any other winger. His first touch is usually immaculate. His control is usually immaculate. He's a technically very gifted footballer. And you know that all you need is a refinement of his game. And if he refines his game, he's going to be a baller. And that's what he needs. And you can tell that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy can do. Like I said, great run from Antony. And I thought he was going to give it to Weghorst, but he waited. You know, he missed the Weghorst. I'm glad he didn't give it to Weghorst, because the way Weghorst has been playing recently, Weghorst would probably miss anyway, but he gave it to Dalot. Great. I mean, Dalot still have things to do, you know. Good first touch and, yeah, good finish from Dalot. 2-0. Like I said in the lead up to this video, the fact that we had inverted wingers, and I think the fact that Dalot was right-footed is the reason why he scored. He's comfortable. Today he looks comfortable cutting in on the left, cutting in onto his right foot. He looked comfortable doing that because I reckon it's just natural. It's natural for him. And even though, to be honest, he's a right back, I think he has played left back before. I think he definitely played it a few games for when he went on loan. And I think he's played it for us before anyway. So the position is not too foreign for him. But good goal. Well-deserved 2-0. Like I said, Nottingham Forest today showed signs, but I don't think they had a shot on goal. They did have a shot on goal. I don't think they had a shot on target. Even though United went clinical and they weren't decisive today, and I could criticize United a lot more. But I need to look at it from a different perspective and think about it like this. Even though Nottingham Forest are a newly promoted team, yes, but it's still a good away performance. The way that we moved the ball, the way we passed it, the way the midfield dominated it, the ball. The only thing that we lacked was a bit more clinical edge in the final third. But this is how a United side who is pushing the league champions or pushing 4 league titles, this is how a United side should be dispatching teams like Nottingham Forest. Maybe not in terms of the scoreline, maybe a 3 or 4-0 would have, reflected the game better, but definitely in terms of possession and the dominance of the game. We dominated that game without creating a lot of chances and without scoring a lot of goals. And that is, for me, important because that is Ten Hag ball. Like I said, we want the defenders to be more further up in towards the halfway line. You want to squeeze teams the way that Arsenal squeeze teams as well, and Man City squeeze teams. You want to squeeze teams as well, but we're getting there. We got an important game in midweek against Sevilla, of course. We have to beat them at their ground. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, guys, but we can do it. I know this video is kind of long, but I had a lot on my mind. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I said, my man of the match today was Bruno. I thought he had a really good game. I could have given it to Antony. I was just, because Antony scored a goal and assisted. But Bruno played well. I felt like Bruno was just everywhere today with his passing. That's what I'm saying. I can't just give it to man because man got flipping goals and assists. Goals and assists don't mean like what happened in the full 90 minutes. See, I was about to give it to Antony. Antony did play well, but because he had a goal and assist, but I thought, okay, Bruno didn't get. I don't think Bruno got an assist, did he? No, but he played well today. And I'm not the biggest Bruno fan, but I have to give it to Bruno today. He's my man of the match. I'm going to stick by my original decision. Who was your man of the match, guys? Let me know what you guys thought of the game. Let me know what you guys think of what's going to happen in midweek. Let me know, man. What's going to happen with our defense? Are we going to survive? Because you know what? We can still, the funny thing is about this year, we could actually still win the treble and Arsenal could still win nothing. Wouldn't that be crazy? After all of this. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, man. Let me know what your thoughts of the game, on the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the game. Let's keep it moving. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. If you're not